The first question raised in the text concerns the origin of Jesus and his relationship with the earth. Many believe that because he is described as the spiritual ruler of the earth, he must have come from a distant cosmic place, a star or planet outside our solar system. This suggests that if he is the leader of our spiritual evolution, he must come from a higher realm, a more evolved sphere, or a place beyond earthly physical space. The origin of Jesus is not related to an astronomical or physical location, but rather to a reduction of his sidereal consciousness. This implies that, in his highest form, Jesus belongs to a spiritual sphere, the essence of which cannot be understood in material terms. He is described as a being who is not restricted to a physical place, but rather to a vibratory state, meaning that his existence transcends the limitations of matter and space-time. This idea is fundamental to understanding the nature of Jesus. Instead of thinking that he came from a specific planet, it is more accurate to understand that he descended to Earth through a process of condensation or vibrational adjustment. This reduction of your sidereal consciousness does not imply a loss of power, but rather an adaptation to terrestrial reality. Jesus, therefore, does not come from an astronomical location, but from a cosmic and spiritual reality, where he was already a full and immortal being, and chose to incarnate on Earth to fulfill a redemptive mission. Let's look at the concept of the amateur sphere, a concept that describes a group of elevated and perfect spirits, whose main characteristic is unconditional love. These spirits do not have a physical body like humans, but live in a high vibrational spiritual sphere, where the nature of love transcends human understanding. These beings are not restricted to a physical place, but occupy a higher spiritual plane, where they dedicate themselves entirely to the evolution of other souls. The essence of the amateur sphere is love in its purest form. This love is not selfish, has no conditions, and is fully manifested in actions of sacrifice and altruism. The spirits of this sphere come together in a great spiritual collective, with a single objective: to help evolving beings on the physical plane. They are described as spirits that do not demand rewards, as the act of serving itself is enough to satisfy them spiritually. They work tirelessly to help humans, even if it involves great sacrifices, both in suffering and temporal limitations. Jesus' role within this sphere is unique. He is described as an avatar of one of the highest entities in this sphere, a being who chose, in his infinite kindness, to incarnate on Earth to carry out a mission of redemption and enlightenment for humanity. This mission is not just a matter of teaching, but of demonstrating, through concrete actions, how unconditional love can transform the world. These high spirits, represented by the sphere of amateurs, are not just spiritual leaders, they are living examples of how love can be the transforming force of reality. They are dedicated to healing souls, and their love knows no barriers, makes no distinction between people. They tirelessly seek the evolution of all beings that cross their path, because they know that true happiness lies in disinterested service and collective spiritual elevation. Jesus' mission on Earth is central to understanding Christianity and the spiritual destiny of humanity. Jesus' mission is not just to teach the doctrine of love, but to embody love. He not only spoke about love, but he became love in its most sublime form. Jesus represents the essence of unconditional love, a love that forgives, that sacrifices, that heals, and that illuminates. Contrary to what many may think, Jesus does not come from an astronomical origin or from a distant region of the universe. Its origin is much deeper and spiritual. He was already an elevated being, with great wisdom and cosmic power, but his mission on Earth was to make a vibratory descent so that he could touch the souls of men, offering them a perfect model of how to live and evolve spiritually. This process of descent does not diminish his greatness, but rather makes his mission more accessible and understandable to humanity. By becoming human, Jesus did not lose his divine essence. He was still, and always will be, a sidereal and cosmic being. However, his choice to incarnate on Earth was a great act of sacrifice, as he had to go through the limitations of matter and human suffering. His mission was a mission of redemption, that is, he came to save humanity from its own spiritual ignorance, to show men that love is the only true answer to the deepest questions of life. Humanity was lost in its own vices and errors, and Jesus came to be the lighthouse that would guide souls in the darkness. He came to show that love is the most powerful force in the universe, capable of transforming even the most hardened hearts. His life and teachings were not just for the time in which he lived, but they are eternal, always relevant, as love transcends time and space. Love is the essence of everything. It is the driving force behind all creation and evolution of the cosmos. Love, in its pure form, is not conditioned by anything. He does not ask for anything in return, but it is the natural movement of the soul that seeks to give itself unconditionally. Absolute love is a difficult concept for human beings to understand, as we are used to a love that has limitations and conditions. On the physical plane, we love based on affinities, interests, or personal needs. But unconditional love, like that of Jesus, has no restrictions. He is universal and makes no distinction between beings. He is capable of transcending all the suffering and all the evil in the world. This love is related to what is called cosmic wisdom. A being who attains true love must also develop a deep understanding of the cosmos and the nature of existence. Love without wisdom can become disordered or misinterpreted, and wisdom without love can be cold and without compassion. Therefore, the true spiritual being is one who combines love and wisdom in a balanced way. This allows the person to understand the suffering of others, offer help without judgment, and dedicate themselves to good without expecting a return. Love, although universal, manifests itself in different ways, depending on the temperament and nature of each being. It explores how different cultures, philosophies, and peoples express this love in ways that can be identified by their own cultural characteristics. He compares the way English, Latin, Asian, and other cultures manifest love. While the English can demonstrate a more resolute and objective love, Latins can express it in a passionate and warm way. Asians, influenced by spiritual traditions such as Buddhism, tend to cultivate love through discipline and meditation. Historical figures such as Pasteur, Da Vinci, Beethoven, and other great names in science, art, and philosophy expressed their love for others in a unique way. For these men, love was not just a feeling, but a creative force that drove them to develop their skills and contribute to the collective good. Love, in this context, was the inspiration for innovation, for the creation of something new that benefited humanity. This diversity of manifestations of love reflects the idea that, although love is universal, it adapts and expresses itself in different ways depending on the circumstances and spiritual mission of each being. The important thing is to understand that, regardless of the form, love is the essence that unites all souls. Jesus is the perfect example of absolute love. Although figures such as Krishna, Buddha, Moses, Zoroaster, and others also represented important spiritual lessons, Jesus' mission was unique. He is considered the greatest manifester of unconditional love because, more than teaching about love, he embodied it in a perfect way. While other spiritual masters had their own missions and ways of expressing love, Jesus was the most complete example of sacrifice, forgiveness, and dedication to the collective good. His life and death are seen as the culmination of divine love, where he gave his own life to save humanity, teaching the true nature of selfless love. If you like this content about the unconditional love of Jesus and want to learn more about his spiritual mission, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and leave a like on the video. Your subscription helps us continue to bring you more teachings that can transform your life. Share this video with friends. Let's spread this message of spiritual transformation.